welcome to our show.
We are first and foremost the greatest, I'll say it, live band ever.
This ain't the same old story. All the same old song and dance.
All those years of playing in the clubs, what we are best at is playing live.
Oh, welcome to our show. Oh, welcome to our life.
Put the Stones in there, put Van Halen, put whatever you want up against us, flat-footed, pound for pound. We will flatten those motherfuckers.
The only problem is I don't know him. I don't know this person. I definitely don't know you either, asshole.
This is Las Vegas, the richest city for its size in the world. For the tourist, this is a showplace featuring great stars, beautiful girls, and
Twisted Sister on the 30th at the Joint inside the Hard Rock.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited ourselves. This is our first show for the new touring season. We're filming the show as well, and this is our first show without our drummer, AJ Pirro. This whole run of shows, this show particularly is a tribute to AJ. Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater, an Adrenaline Mob, amazing drummer, who AJ actually picked himself to replace him. We each had picked somebody in the event that we couldn't make a show. We were not thinking about death. And AJ said, well, I'd like Mike Portnoy to fill in for me. We're going to honor AJ by playing this show in his name, essentially.
There's very important stuff going on here. Don't try this at home, kids. What's up? Hey, what's up?
Hey, mister, your rear tire's flat.
What?
Yeah, take a look, over here.
When we started out, all the clubs in the New York area were mob-owned. So we had a lot of mob connections and a lot of help from these people with loans and stuff as we were trying to make our way up. We had a lot of good friends.
Somebody take a picture. No one's gonna believe me.
My wife's family's I'm married to the mob. They threatened to kill me on the first date. She was 15, I was 21. And they told me they'd put me in the bottom of a lake if I laid one hand on her.
I don't think you're really interested in gardening.
Her dad, steered clear, but her godfather and uncle was the enforcer for the Persico crime family. I mean, the real deal good fellas.
What did you do with the loot? I blew the money in Vegas.
We've sort of stayed out of that. I didn't need that much help.
You're like, I'm good.
I don't want no horse head in my bed.
8362, 28 to a vehicle, 907-1122
Producers of this film have decided that in order to make us feel comfortable doing this interview at the Mob Museum in Vegas, thinking that the sound of gunshots would be soothing to our ears, and to a degree, I guess he's right. So thank you for making us feel as comfortable as possible.
The Club Speaks that we played was the heart of the Goodfellas. In the afternoons, there was a side bar, and they would all sit around the side bar, and they had their telephones, and they were always eating Chinese food. And I would walk in the middle of the day and say hello to them, and they'd sit down and say, hey, Mark, you want to buy this? You want to buy that? We have this going on. And then they were all there. I met all of them, every single one of them.
Listen to this. Largo.
Good evening!
didn't bother us much about anything. They really didn't. They made money off of us. There was a couple of guys who may have threatened us once or twice. Our road crew left the back of our truck open, and the manager of Speaks, the club, found some guy taking our equipment, right?
Here's a club, well-known historical mob lore as being one of those kinds of rooms. We were a house band every Thursday night for a long time. Phone call 5 o'clock in the morning from our light man truck driver. He goes, "Hey man, you're not gonna believe what happened. I'm driving home on the LIE, and I look at my rearview mirror, and the mixing consoles on the LIE, and a truck runs over. So whereas the mixing console goes, oh, I forgot to tell you, drums are missing, bass amps are missing, mic stands are missing. I said, what do you mean? He goes, well, I pulled over and I looked at the back of the truck, and it's all gone. And I said, but the mixing consoles run over in the middle of the LIE. And I go, so what are you telling me? He goes, I couldn't find mic stands, drum boxes, amplifiers anywhere. And I'm thinking, well, we don't have insurance at this point, and our life is over. It's one of those our life is over moments. And the phone rings, and it's Uncle Ralph. And Uncle Ralph, sweetheart of a guy, has one of those Sopranos voices. And he goes, hey, JJ, it's Uncle Ralphie. What the fuck is with your road crew? And I go, what? He goes, I'm in the diner, the East Bay Diner, eating typical breakfast with Fat Scotty and Mickey the Chair and Frankie the Knife and Billy the Fork or whatever. Some guy runs in, he goes, hey, there's mic stands all over Long Beach Road. So he goes, I get in my car and I drive down the road, and all your freaking equipment is stretched out for like 2 miles. And I get to the end, and there's a guy loading in the back of a van. I say, excuse me, sir, that stuff belongs to me. And he kindly returned it.
Uncle Ralphie said, yo, I had a little conversation with him, and it's my equipment, and you're gonna put it back in my club. He's not telling us what he really said.
But that conversation had to go in a certain way.
We are Twisted Fucking Sister! The kids are back! We walk the streets in tattered armies. We got the lion in our heart. We're not looking for trouble, just flowers of fun. But we're all ready if you want to start. Just remember the kids are back. The kids are back. Oh, watch out, the kids are back. What can you blame us for living our dream? I look around and you'll see why. We don't want to follow that same routine. Maybe it's for nothing, we gotta try. Just remember the kids are back. The kids are back. Oh, watch out, the kids are back. Look at no problem, no need to fuss. Oh, we ain't out to stop your fun. Don't mind the tasket, 'cause we gotta go. How can we stop it when you haven't done? Just remember the kids are back. The kids are back. Sing it with me. Oh, watch out. That's right. Just remember the kids are back. The kids are back. Oh, watch out.
If it wasn't for Emmett's Inn, there'd be no Twisted Sister. Well, I bought the place in 1971. Emmett's was the #1 club in the state. Heavy metal club. Between the fist fights and the drinking and partying, everything went great.
The club owner, Bob Garvey, was a character. He would not pay you unless you drank Chivas with him.
I just wanted to make sure they weren't undercover feds.
Well, I don't drink.
Emmett's was an interesting place to play. It was kind of in the middle of nowhere. We had fun there. I remember having to stay late and drinking a lot of scotch to get paid.
So the only time I've ever consumed that is with Bob, and he'd make me drink 2 shots of it. It's just the worst tasting crap I ever tasted, but I had to drink it to get paid.
Yeah, we would stay up rather late, drinking scotch and getting paid and telling stories, and it got forgettable because after you drink a certain amount of scotch, you don't remember much.
This is the place where Dee Snider auditioned for the first time for Twisted Sister, and he was hired.
Sorry, Bob. Not even close. We played Emmett's with Dee 2 years after Dee had joined the band.
I was asked by J.J. French, at the end of the night, what'd you think of Dee Snider? And I says, fine, just teach him how to curse.
Bob may believe it. He may think it. He may have hallucinated it. He may have thought that he mentioned it to me while he was paying me one night. Maybe your singer should curse more, whatever. But he didn't have a conversation with Dee. I mean, Dee was antisocial. Never spoke to the club owners except when he walked in and walked out during the evening. Almost never. He hated the whole part of that business.
Just remember, JJ, if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't be nothing. Always remember that.
I think Bob Garvey needs a little straightening out as far as the facts are concerned. Or maybe I'll get one of my guys to go pay him a visit.
Mr. Garvey's been expecting you. Right this way.
It is true, Emmett's does loom large in the history of the band. First time we played here was September 26th and 27th of 1975. That drummer was in the band for 9 weeks.
I tell people, when he auditioned here.
Richie?
Okay? No, Dee Snider.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, all right.
Dee joined in 1976, but we didn't play with Dee here until 1978. And the real drag about me knowing all this is that I shouldn't be that efficient or that knowledgeable. I'm a musician. What the hell should I really know about this? But I actually am a historian, so I know. Now, Emmett's did mean an awful lot to us on a lot of different levels, but the fact that you thought that he auditioned here was a little strange.
But I was under the influence that he was auditioning here for you. That was probably one of the lies that were told to me.
Well, that went hand in hand with how much we were being told we were being paid by you.
At the end of the night, that was always the war.
It was the war. And you know what? Here's what made this
and
war.
They always wanted more than what they quoted.
Because we were always worth more.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's when we ended.
Yeah,
and we sold.
With the reputation of us destroying rooms. Because the club owner wanted to change the room around, either go from disco to rock, or they wanted to teach a lesson to the owner of the building via some insurance issue or something. Emmett's was on the list of clubs that was part of our demolition crew. Starting with Hammerheads, yours was the second room, So Factory was the third room, 2001 Disco was the fourth room, with they asked us to destroy. Yeah. You told us to tell them to destroy the room. Take whatever the fuck you want to do.
I didn't care if they destroyed the room as long as they packed the place.
Remind me how you paid.
How did I pay you?
How'd you pay the band? How'd you pay me?
Pay with a check.
And how did?
Then I cashed the check.
And you cashed it. And then what did I have to do to get that money?
You had to dance.
No.
Oh yeah.
We had a drink.
Oh, you had to have a Coca-Cola.
We had a drink. What was the drink of choice?
Coca-Cola, wasn't it?
What, yeah, okay. So what was the drink we had a drink? We had Chivas. Was that what it was, actually?
Chivas?
You had a drink?
What was that? I never heard of that.
Really?
Yeah.
You will not acknowledge how much that you force-fed alcohol into us.
The only thing I ever drank here was Kool-Aid.
Okay.
Mr. French.
Oh, Thank you so much. Is there Chivas in this?
It's Kool-Aid. Oh, my favorite.
This one's dedicated to all the assholes in the world. It's called Shoot 'Em Down. Come on, boys. Ow. She looks so fine like champagne and wine. No one ever gets her. Always a cool, plays out for pearls. If I wanna let her across the room, just sing like a pearl. Blown away by her style. She goes out of her way so that she can pay. Make him think for a little while. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down to the ground. Like caviar or hot car. He's a motor painter. Down to the teeth and down on their knees. He's a master painter. Make him curve with a hand of it all. Like to see him cry. Like just for fun, he'll say she's the one. Then he'll make her like her. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down, shoot him down. Shoot him down to the ground. They don't care their feelings. Or they want them to be stepped on. And while one is healing, he goes and steps on another. Wealthy people play on a every day. From a bad to better. They think the world, they make their own rules. It only gets us better. Well, they think they're hot. I say they're not. They shoot us down for fun. If they wanna play, let's make them pay. Shoot them down with a fucking gun. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down to the ground. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down, shoot them down. Shoot them down. Come on, honey. Come on, shoot them. Shoot them down.
The thing about Twisted Sister is that up until the tragic loss of AJ, they were the one band out there that still actually had all 5 guys that started it. And unfortunately, with his passing, that's not the case. But I think that it's admirable that they've said, in light of that and the fact that they've been going 40 years, that in 2016 they're going to end.
We were the bar scene in the suburbs. Mark was in the Dictators, and that was the epitome of the New York City punk scene.
Seminole punk band.
The Dictators was a seminole punk band. So Mark comes in and brings a whole different energy.
I joined the Dictators, toured around the world for 2.5 years as a 19-year-old, opening up for Kiss, ZZ Top, Bob Seger, Blue Oyster Cult, Alice Cooper, you name it, we played with them. Got to England and did a tour with the Stranglers and was just horrified about what the real hardcore punk scene, was like, throwing bottles and spitting at everybody, and I got into a lot of fights. came back and they wanted to go in a different direction. They wanted to become pop, and so I left the band. And before that, was seeing Twisted Sister in the clubs. And I was a fan, but I never met them until probably 6 or 8 months before I actually started working for the band. I'd come down and introduce myself. I was between gigs. They hired me as a bass tech, and of course, in doing as a bass tech, I learned all the songs. You know, JJ called me up one morning and gave me this little speech about Kenny leaving. You know, I mean, we had just gotten home from being out all night at a gig, and it's probably 8 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just laying down, and the phone rings, and I hello, and JJ's on the phone, and he goes, "You still looking for a gig? You want to play bass?" I said, "Yeah, of course." He goes, "How would you like to join Twisted Sister?" And I said, "You're serious?" He goes, "Yeah." I said, "So," he goes, "Would you do it?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, great." Click, and he hangs up, and I'm looking, going, "Wait a minute, whoa, wait, what? What?" So I'd call him back, but back then everything was shh. I couldn't dial the phone fast enough. Come on.
Call the rotary phone.
It rings like, yeah. So he answers. I said, "Are you serious about that?" He goes, "Why? You don't want to do it?" I said, "Yes." He goes, "Okay, great. Talk to you later." Click, and he does it again. I'm like, okay, I guess I'm in the band.
It's funny about Mark. He's kind of like a big teddy bear kind of guy. It's part of his way of joking around, sort of intimidate people. He's not at all like what he seems to come off like, at least to me, but he likes me.
And then the final piece was AJ Pirro, who came in '82.
We deserve an individualized round of applause, starting with the man behind the cans, on the drums, AJ
Pirro! He made beats that everybody knows. You know, there's very few drummers that pulled that off. That is huge. We played together for a while in the late 90s, and he laid drums on one of my songs on one of my albums too. It was a soft song that was all cellos and an acoustic guitar, and it was part of the song that was very Queenish, and he just came in. It was just, you know, this playing with brushes, this beautiful thing. And it's kind of weird, I don't know if I should even say, but something about that song, ironically, the song was called Heart Attack.
How many drummers can say that they created a beat that is so instantly recognizable the world over? There's a handful of those beats, and you know that as well as I know that. And when people hear bum, 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 they just light up.
We all came out of the glitter era of the early '70s, and Twisted Sister was a makeup and costume band. And I would see ads for Twisted Sister, and they looked so cool. So when I joined the band, I was finally getting a chance to be in a glitter band. And Jay was kind of over it at that point, and I'm like, oh no, I'm this kid from the suburbs, because he was from, and Eddie too, they're from Manhattan and the Bronx. They're from the urban centers, and things burn quickly in the urban centers, you know, in the cities. The new scene trends start, but in the suburbs, this shit had barely reached the suburbs. And as a kid in the suburbs, I'm going, no man, this is still great. And I was pretty stubborn. I refused to take off the platform shoes or the makeup I just kept putting his shit on. Closely. Twisted Sister, by its very name, defined the way we look. And you gotta give some props rekindling that flame to the Rocky Horror Picture Show. My makeup was affected by it. We started playing some songs from the movie, Sweet Transvestite, Time Warp.
Time Warp.
Yeah, And it sort of allowed us some latitude there that this was an acceptable thing.
We developed our look. Like Suzette, his wife, started making clothes for him. She gave us all an image. Like I was red and black and he was pink and black. And those are the ugliest chicks I've ever seen.
Growing up on Long Island, Twisted Sister were it. They were the kings. They were doing in the clubs like what Kiss was doing in arenas. And they were like Kiss in the clubs. And it was just like 5 guys that were like supermen. Best live band in the world then, and still, 35 years later, still are.
How's Portnoy doing? Come on, how's Mike Portnoy doing? He's only in 75 pants. This is a 76. All right, from the Come Out and Play album, it's time to go to church. Here's what's called I Believe in Rock and Roll. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of Rock. I told the point of view from which it stands. One music under one God. Your name of God loves rock and roll pen. With liberty and justice for all land. I work so hard. I don't work hard. I'm told exactly what to do. Say every day. I lose control. I rock and roll. It's gonna have to see that through. I believe in rock and roll. 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 Do you take this music to be a lawfully winning rock? To have it home in sickness and in hell. For richer or for poorer, for better or for worse. Together until death comes to yourself. I work so hard. I'm dealt a card. I'm doing exactly what to do every day. I lose control. I rock and roll. It's gonna have to stay that through. I believe in rock and roll. 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 Well, like I said, it is time to go to church. It is time to go to church. And this is the Church of Twisted Sister. Very different than any church you've ever been in before. Because we only believe in one thing. We only believe in one thing. Fuck everything else. We believe in rock and roll. Do you believe in rock and roll? I said, brothers and sisters, do you believe in rock and roll? I do believe in rock and roll. Well then, repeat after D. Say, well, I believe in rock and roll. Go! Wow, that was really fucking good. Here I was expecting jaded Las Vegans People who've seen it all, who wouldn't sing along with D. And look at you motherfuckers! Do it again! I said, well, I believe in rock and roll. Yeah! Well, I believe in rock and roll. Say! John! Well, I believe in rock and roll! Good God! I believe in rock and roll! I believe in rock and roll! Well, I believe in rock and roll! 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 I believe in rock and roll!
People who live in the New York, New Jersey area, as I have my whole life, will tell you the stories of legend about Twisted Sister's club shows back then. I, unfortunately, was just too young to have seen them. I missed those shows by a year. Every time the drinking age was 18, they moved it to 19. When I was about to turn 19, they moved it to 20. I used to think that Twisted Sister was a British band because I would get all these British magazines as a rock fan as a little kid, and Twisted Sister were featured in those magazines. They weren't featured in American magazines. Their records were available through British record labels, not American record labels. So as a kid, must be a British band, right? Had no idea that they were a New York band, but they couldn't get arrested here, so they were getting traction in England.
Hi, I'm Jason Flom, former chairman and CEO of Atlantic Records, Virgin Records, and Capitol Records. I obviously can't hold a job. First time I heard about Twisted Sister was when I had signed a band called Zebra. It was around 1981. And the singer from Zebra, his name was Randy Jackson, he says to me, Flom, you got to see Twisted Sister. He goes, they're the best live band in the world. He said, we can't touch them, and neither can anyone else. As it happened, Zebra was opening for Twisted at a place called the Mid-Hudson Civic Center in Poughkeepsie. And I thought it was pretty strange because Zebra had a record deal and Twisted Sister didn't. So I went up to Poughkeepsie on a Wednesday night, and there were 3,000 kids there. They were all wearing Twisted Sister t-shirts. Zebra opened, and they got polite applause. And then Twisted came on stage, and it was pandemonium. And D gets up and he says, what do you New York motherfuckers have to say? And all 3,000 kids go, Twisted fucking Sister. And I was like, that's it, I'm done. I didn't care if they could play their instruments. I didn't care if they could sing. I didn't care if they had any songs. I was like, this is good enough for me.
Twisted Sister. It was an absolute spectacle. I clap after every song. I put my hands in the air. I saw them at the Mid-Hudson Civic Center. I had a line from the barricade across my chest. D slapped my hand. JJ played in my face. It was like, fuck yeah, this is cool. That was my education, man.
Twisted Sister was one of the first of its kind. I mean, these guys had makeup and outfits, and we were still wearing like bell-bottoms and sort of hippie clothes. So they were completely way ahead of time as far as we were concerned. But again, we didn't take too much notice of it because it was just another way to present yourself. I think D. Snyder is a genius in a way, because, you know, he did something that nobody had the guts to do at that time. He just expressed himself, found himself in that sort of figure, and shocked everyone. So it was kind of shock rock. We were all kinds of different bands. And it really didn't matter what you were into as long as you were playing truthfully. As long as you were delivering, you know, the message.
Good to see you guys. Thanks for being here. I was never in a club. Day one in a club, when we just started, we had barricades on front of the stage that said, keep back. There was 7 people in the place. And our barricade said, keep back. And every one of them walked up to the barricade to see what was going on. I'm like this, in a little bar, and I'm pointing to the top row of the arena because I was not there. I was in an arena. And one day I would be in an arena. And I've never viewed myself as a bar band or in a club band. And my mom and dad constantly tell me I couldn't do it. They would constantly tell me to give up. They would constantly tell me I'd never make it. A lot of people just tell me I was just going to be a number, basically. Yeah, my dad wanted me to take the civil service test to sell insurance like he did. And he was a cop, and he goes, you know, it pays good, you know. And I'm going, no, I want to be a rock star. From 8 years old, I'm going to be a rock star.
Thanks for being here.
No one's going to believe me. Work on a job site, doing construction or whatever. And I say, hey, you know, wait, we're going to get benefits soon. I said, benefits? I want to be a rock star. And that was it. Just ridicule morning and night. Hey, rock star, there's shit on the floor. Hey, rock star, carry this garbage out. Hey, rock star. But guess what? I'm a fucking rock star.
You know what time it is? Oh, we're not gonna take it. Oh, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. We've got the right to choose it. There ain't no way we lose it. This is our life, and then that's all. We'll fight the powers that be just. I don't pick our destiny, 'cause you don't know us, you don't belong. We're not gonna take it. Oh no, we ain't gonna take it. Oh, we're not gonna take it anymore. Oh, you're so condescending. You're dull and never ending. We don't want nothing from you. Your life is right and jaded, boring and confiscated. If that's your best won't do. Oh, whoa, sing it! We're right, we're free, we'll fight, you'll see. Whoa, we're not gonna take it. Oh, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. We're not gonna take it. Oh, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. No way. Yes! Hell yeah! Alright! We're not gonna take it. What? No, we ain't gonna take it. Yeah! We're not gonna take it
So the next night I went to see Twisted again down at a place called the Fountain Casino in South Jersey, and there were 3,700 kids there, and I was like, how is this even possible? I mean, this is 200 miles from where I was last night. It was like I'd had a religious experience. I was on a mission at that point. I had to sign Twisted Sister. It took months of badgering, and still, no one would believe me, even threatened with my job if I brought up the name again. As fate would have it, I saw a guy in the hallway one day named Phil Carson, and I knew Phil was a sort of a legend in the business. He ran the English company. He had signed AC/DC and other huge acts. So I just went up to him and handed him a cassette with a piece of paper. I'd written down all the sales figures and the T-shirts and the ticket sales. He later told me that he took the whole thing and threw it in the garbage.
I never opened the envelope, as it were, that Jason had given me. When I opened it, didn't even listen to anything. I just threw it all in the trash can. And I had no idea that this was the band that was in that manila envelope.
A lot of serendipity in this story. Twisted was in England, I don't know, a few weeks after that, and they were a last-minute addition for another show. Maybe it was Foreigner or somebody like that. And Phil was there to see the other band and happened to see them open. He called me the next day and he said, that's the greatest thing I've seen since I first saw AC/DC, and I'm going to sign them. And I was like, amen. After I'd signed them, until Jason called me, he said, hey, you signed my band. I said, what band? He said, well, Twisted Sister, that's the band I gave you. By virtue of him signing them, it became a fait accompli that the American company would release the record out of respect to him. And I have to say this, Jason Flon single-handedly broke Twisted Sister in America. He did an amazing job. He had no budget. He was going around putting up posters himself. Without him, whether or not I'd signed them wouldn't make any difference if no one was working the record, and he did it. He broke Twisted Sister.
Getting signed was a Herculean effort. I mean, it took 6.5 years to get an indie record deal in the UK. And we virtually transplanted over there for a couple of years, first recording with Secret Records, then getting signed with Atlantic Records. We could not get arrested in America. It didn't matter how popular we were. And we were hugely regionally popular. We just were continually written off as a local phenomenon. Then it was a tri-state phenomenon. Then it was a regional phenomenon. The record companies did not want to acknowledge this dirtbag bar band that had people freaking out.
We had a hit single. It's a big deal. We did
Yeah.
have a hit
Yeah,
single
we-
there,
yeah,
and a
with
tour,
Atlantic Records.
a legitimate hit single, Top of the Pops, doing all these shows in Germany, and come back to the United States after this kind of success to basically be told by the record label that, hey man, we're not really giving you any support. Not only that, you went over budget by $4,500, and if you want the album released, you got to pay us $4,500. And we played, I believe, a show at the Fountain Casino and gave them a check for $4,500 to release the record. That's $4,500, which essentially was phone bills calling back to our families.
And they docked us.
And they docked us and penalized us. We come back and you know what? We just went on. We went on tour without any tour support at all.
Yeah, we went out on a road and just started selling records.
We did whatever we could. We had money saved up, and we rented a Winnebago, and we drove straight from New York to Salt Lake City, right? 56 hours.
It was a piece of junk. It probably should have been wrecked or junked years before we got it, and it already had 150,000 miles on it. So I looked at it, and when we looked at it to rent it, I said, guys, this isn't going to work. It's mechanically unfit. And they said, well, this is all we can afford. I said, okay, I guess I know it's going to be on me to fix it on the road. And then one day, Charlie was driving, and he went to shift it into gear, and it just did nothing.
He was underneath the truck a lot.
It lasted 2 shows.
But we did make
it. We made it in Tempe, and then completed the entire tour
in rent-a-cars.
We'd all sleep in the back because we couldn't afford to stay in hotels in most places. And we did from Tempe, I love saying this, we went from Tempe clear across to San Diego to LA, LA to Riverside, Riverside back down to LA, LA to Denver via Las Vegas, Salt Lake City again, drove down straight to Texas, which took 22 hours to get from there down, the straight drives, Austin, Beaumont, and Houston, and then 36 hours straight drive to New York City to play the Beacon Theater, dropped the cars off, got on a plane, flew to Europe, got in that mobile torture
MTU,
unit,
the
the MTU, did a tour through Europe in a mobile torture van, flew back to the United States, got another van, drove out to Kansas City and did the Queensryche tour. This is what that first year was like. This was about as down and dirty and as rough and as tough as you possibly can get to prove something. And you want to know what happened in that course of that tour? We sold 100,000 albums with no support from the record label, just purely on the fact that we showed up at every gig, kicked ass, and went to the next gig. And after a solid year of that, I met the president of the record label who did not like the band and said that he did not like the band. He went on record that he didn't like the band. He didn't want to help us.
Jason Flaum's struggle with getting the band signed was with Doug Morris. Doug Morris threatened to fire Jason Flaum. Doug Morris told people they could not mention Twisted Sister's name. This is my savior.
That's me.
This guy said, you know what? You guys sold 100,000 records without any help from me. He said, but let me read you something. He pulls out a drawer, and he has a stack of telexes because back in those days, there were no fax machines. Doug, Twisted Sister played Florida. Blew the place to play. How come we didn't get promotional stuff, right? Doug, Twisted Sister played Cincinnati. Blew the place apart. How come we got no promotional stuff? Doug, Twisted played Denver. Blew the place apart. This goes on and on and on. And then he gets the executive VP, Roger Desjardins in Canada. Roger Desjardins says, this was the greatest show I'd ever seen in my life. How come I got no support? And he said to me, I made a mistake. He said, you know about this thing called MTV? Because it was brand new. And he goes, do you know who owns MTV? I said, no. He goes, we do. I said, what do you mean? He goes, Warner Music and American Express own MTV. He goes, you give us a video. We will make you the biggest band in the world. And I walked out thinking, this guy is full of crap.
They busted their fucking ass. They absolutely did. They worked hard and it paid off. That was at the time, just as MTV is coming up and everything was becoming visual. They took it to a whole new level. They made the first big anthems. They did. We're Not Gonna Take It and I Wanna Rock.
What do you want to do? What do you want to do? What do you want to do? I wanna rock!
So they had that organic, pure, no fluff, no bullshit. They were really, like, you knew who they were.
All right, mister, what do you think you're doing? You call this a room? This is a pigsty. I want you to straighten up this area now. You are a disgusting slob. Stand up straight. Tuck in that shirt. Adjust that belt buckle. Tie those shoes. Twisted Sister.
I got a phone call from Dee.
What is that?
Saying, we're doing this music video and we want you to do it. Can you come to California and shoot this thing with us? And I said, no, I'm doing a play.
Wipe that smile off your face.
I didn't even have a television. I didn't know what MTV was. I certainly didn't listen to hair bands or any kind of music. I mean, I've always say that ever since Beethoven died, I haven't paid any attention to popular music.
Do you understand?
But I did have Monday and Tuesday off. I said, okay, I'll do it. They paid me $300, a union scale, but it wasn't a union picture.
What is that? A Twisted Sister pin on your uniform?
This was the kind of high-end operation this was. Marty Callner was the director. I slept on his couch.
I carried an M16 and you carry that guitar.
Dee said, so this is the thing. It's like a Roadrunner cartoon, and you're the Wile E. Coyote, and you yell at your kid, and then we go, I want to rock, and the last line before you yell at the kid has to be,
what do you want to do with your life?
We just abuse you throughout the whole thing.
I want to rock.
I completely forgot about it until MTV started playing it every 7 seconds. It was played all over, and the band blew up with it, and it became this huge thing. And I still didn't have a television, I still had never seen it, and I still didn't really care that much.
What is that?
Until I realized a year or so later that the band all seemed to be living in these big houses on Long Island, and I was still living in a 5th floor walk-up in Manhattan. So we made the second one, and it blew up, and it was ever. My father, who was never very happy with the fact that I went into the theater.
Hello, students.
The only work of mine that he was ever proud of, because when Tipper Gore did her hearings on sex and drugs and rock and roll, I think it was the first one, We're Not Going to Take It, was played in its entirety on the floor of the Senate. So my dad was really proud that my work was in the Senate record books. I don't think he ever saw the video. I know he never saw Animal House, because I don't think he would have liked it.
The whole PMRC situation was a bit of a strange deal back in the 80s. It was this idea that these housewives, who happened to be senators' wives, were trying to help families and children and all that stuff by saying, oh, let's protect their ears from these terrible things that are happening in music.
Mr. Zappa, thank you very much for being with us. Please proceed.
I've been listening to the event in the other room, and I've heard some conflicting reports as to whether or not people in this committee want legislation. I understand that Mr. Hollings does from his comments. Is that correct?
The problem was it really was censorship. It was trying to legislate what could and could not be written about in music.
These are my personal observations and opinions. I speak on behalf of no group or professional organization.
If you have free speech, why are you not allowed to say stuff in music?
One of the things the issue is about is the First Amendment to the Constitution.
One of the best lines that he delivered in his defense against the whole thing was,
the PMRC demands are the equivalent of treating dandruff by decapitation.
Which I thought was pretty amazing to have that be said in front of the Senate hearing.
I think artists have only one responsibility, and that is to be true to themselves in their art. That's it.
Mr. Snyder, thank you for being here.
Someone that has ideas about how the world could be better or about politics, you should certainly not censor yourself for any reason, and that should be evident in your art.
This attack was contained in an article written by Tipper Gore, which was given the form of a full page in my hometown newspaper on Long Island. Ms. Gore claimed that one of my songs, Under the Blade, had lyrics encouraging sadomasochism, bondage, and rape. The lyrics she quoted have absolutely nothing to do with these topics. On the contrary, the words in question are about surgery and the fear that it instills in people. As the creator of Under the Blade, I can say categorically that the only sadomasochism, bondage, and rape in this song is in the mind of Ms. Gore.
He got up there looking just like Dee Snider and spoke truth to power, and I admire that.
Thank you, Mr. Snyder.
This one is... Now, in Europe, they respond with Same thing. I go I, they go I. Hey! Hey! I want to do fucking, oh yeah, I want to run! I want to run! I want to run! I want to run! Turn it down, you say. All I gotta say to you is time and I gotta say no. No, 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 no. There's only one thing I'll say to you. I wanna run. I wanna run. Want to run. I wanna run. There's a feeling that I get from nothing else, and there ain't nothing in the world that makes me go. Go, 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 go. Turn the power up. Wait a minute, so long so I can hear my favorite tune, so let's go. Go, go, go. When it's like this, I feel the music shoot through me. And nothing else I'd rather do. I wanna rock. I wanna rock. I want to rock. I wanna rock. So you, I wanna rock, rock, rock. I wanna rock, rock, rock. I want to rock, rock, rock. I wanna rock, rock, rock. I wanna rock. I wanna rock. I wanna rock. I want to rock. I wanna rock. Well now, this is an old school thing, you know. The old school thing, sing along with the band. But why is it old school? There's no school like the old school. And why do we do this? Because in the immortal words of Glenn Hughes and Trapeze, you're the music, we're the band. So now you gotta be the music. You know the word you gotta say. You know the word you gotta say. It's the only four-letter word that fucking matters. Rock. 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 What? Come on! Well, let's try it. Let's try it. You guys have been loud tonight. You're loud. So let's see how good you are. Here we go. I want to rock! That was fucking good. That was good. Because they weren't even truly ready for it. And it was still good. Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Try it again. I want to rock! 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 I want Don't you fucking forget it! Thank you!
And here are the archives. This is everything from A through Z throughout my entire two-car garage. And this 600-pound piece of street that my dad made for me to do the photo shoot for Come Out and Play. When Stay Hungry came out, Mark Mendoza had an idea that he wanted a band to be on the cover. It was important for the band to be on the cover. So the idea was to build this set, this old tenement room, you know, with rats crawling around and whatnot. And they'd have 5 of the guys in makeup and costume on one side of the room, and then around this table with this bone being hungry without makeup. The budget wasn't there to make a huge room, and I thought it would work with this room that we did, and it wasn't big enough. So when we not Photoshop, back then they had to like kind of strip it in. So when they did that, it just looked silly. It was like them hanging out on one side and then huddling around. It just didn't relate. So at the end of the night, I did individuals of everybody, and then at the end, I said, I don't know if we got it, you know. So I said, B, can you hang around for another, you know, one more roll of film? And it was like, yeah, whatever you want. It was like 3, 4 in the morning. It was like a 20-hour photo shoot. So I said, come on, D, just get angry. Just, you know, do it. And I took the bone, I threw it at him. He took the bone, he started hitting the walls. The police was knocking on the doors. It was like insane. He got into that character. He was like an animal. I turned all the film into the art director. The band almost broke up because of the image of the photo on the cover.
Suddenly, the image and the videos and the hit records, which were a certain part of what we were about, completely overshadowed the band, completely took the forefront, and eventually, and ultimately destroyed the band.
AJ left after Come Out and Play, and then D resigned.
I left and then went on hiatus.
Yeah, it just kind of happened.
I only found out D left because I read it in USA Today. There was a little article. I found it too. It was
Someone sent a letter.
Yeah, but I got the letter after I saw it.
But that's how things were, a letter.
Yeah, it was.
You're with the guy all these years and you send him a fucking letter.
Yeah,
what a pussy move, D.
It was called Twist and Outs. That was a little clip in USA Today. The best thing we ever did was walked away before the hair bands were killed by this onslaught of grunge, because we were already left.
We weren't around to kill. The Price is probably one of my favorite songs to play live because I wrote it with just a lot of thought in mind. You know, I get to play like a solo that's very melodic and meaningful to me. And even though it's a ballad, which is one of our few ballads, every night when I play it, I just kind of forget where I am. It gives me a great feeling.
It's 8:52 here in New York. I'm Bryant Gumbel. We understand that there has been a plane crash on the southern tip of Manhattan.
Рухнуло одно из 2 зданий Всемирного торгового центра. それを見ていた街の人なんですが、もう泣き叫んでおりまして、本当にいい街の中。
JJ lives in Manhattan, always lived there, and I live right outside of the city. And it's fresh in our minds that it just happened. And JJ called me, and you know, I got to talk to you about something serious. And JJ and I were always close. There was never a time we weren't like family members to each other. We were very close. And he calls me and he goes, Eddie Trunk called me, and he's doing a benefit for 9/11 called New York Steel. Before you say anything, because he knew I was gonna like tear him to pieces, before you say anything, he's asking Twisted Sister to headline this concert, this benefit concert. So JJ goes quiet, waiting for me to like tear him to pieces, and I go, you know what? Sometimes there's things bigger in life than our own feelings. If the rest of the guys will do it, I'll do it. And that's basically the reunion of Twisted Sister. It started with that particular show. I believe it was
that there were a lot of benefit things happening and nothing for the hard rock community as far as a charitable event.
Stay
And I said, I'm going to put together a 9/11 charity concert for metalheads. And I put a bill together that consisted of Sebastian Bach, Ace Frehley, Anthrax, and Overkill. 4 bands. And they were all, I wanted them all to be New York, New Jersey based. The promoters I was dealing with at the time who gave me the venue said, listen, you need a big headliner because we don't think we're going to have a lot of success getting people to come to New York. So then I start thinking, I said, you know what? If Twisted Sister were ever going to bury the hatchet and get together again after 13 years.
People would like to see these guys do this again full time.
Because we play so little, there's great interest when we do play, all over the world. I liken it to back when I was in high school and you did the occasional battle of the bands or the dance. You like look forward to it all month. You're like, hey, we're playing the dance, you know? Because it was like, it was not a grind in any way. Basically, because the only way we could do it initially, it's actually worked out to our benefit, and that by playing less, our value has increased.
Turn the lights on, these motherfuckers! Turn them up!
We had a lot of success in the 80s, but there was no way that we could headline 75,000 people. Now, 50, 60, 70,000 people is commonplace in Europe and South America.
I've been fortunate now to play some of the festivals with them in Europe, and they headline every festival they play. Nobody could go on stage after Twisted. They literally level the playing field. People in Europe give them that respect.
On March 19th of this year, I spoke to AJ for the last time. And I called him because we as a band had decided that next year was going to be it. And he said, okay, I got it. And I want you to know that my shoulder's bothering me and I'm going in to have it rehabbed. I said, okay, cool, AJ. When are you back in New York? He said, I'll be back on the following Monday. And I said, cool, man. I'll see you Monday. And I hung up the phone. And about 12 hours later, I got a phone call that AJ passed away of a heart attack on the bus. And we tried to process this as a band. It's next to impossible to process when you lose a brother, a family member, someone you love.
I read somewhere where JJ called him the engine that drove the train.
Yeah, JJ also accurately called him the nice one in the band. he said the nice one died, and they left the 4 scumbags. So, but yeah, he was just such a great guy. And, you know, we were broken up for 15 years, and he's the only one who remained friends with everybody in the band, because you couldn't not like AJ. He was that guy. So even though the 4 of us wanted to kill each other, AJ was friends with all and was constantly keeping that little line of communication open between us that eventually led to us reuniting. God, it's like 13 years ago now. But yeah, AJ was just a great guy. We lost AJ, and 1/5 of that is gone. You know, that camaraderie, that insaneness, you also miss that. You can't replace the person. AJ is not replaceable. It was our first show back without AJ. This particular show is the first show that Mike Portnoy played. And I gotta say, a huge thanks to him, because he made our lives easy. He came in at 98%. You know, we did a couple of rehearsals with him. I think it was 3 or 4, and did the show. That's how good he is. That's how well he studied and watched videos and listened to all the live stuff and figured out what AJ was playing, because I can't even tell you what AJ was playing. He was an incredible drummer. Big shout out and thanks to Mike Portnoy.
One of the keys to being successful in playing in 100 different bands like I do is research. Before I did that first show in Vegas, I did my homework and went through all of these DVDs, but I grew up with Twisted anyway, so you know, this double live DVD is amazing. Shows them in the clubs, pretty much that is the closing chapter of their club days, and then it also has the reunion show, so 2 very important gigs in their history there. And You know, just lots of really cool stuff here. And before I started playing with Twisted, I watched all these, and you know, I already knew their history really, really well growing up with them. But this was kind of a good refresher course in a crash course in SMF history. Well, AJ and I became friends about 15 years ago or so. You know, everybody in the drum world kind of gets to know each other and becomes friends. A lot of mutual admiration and respect in the drum world. Eat your heart out, JJ. Fast forward many years later, and I'm working with a band called Adrenaline Mob, and I had to bail on it just because I had too many things on my plate, had to let it go. But anyway, AJ ended up stepping in and taking over my place in Adrenaline Mob. And March 19th, 2015, it was the day before AJ passed away. I remember getting a text that AJ was leaving the Adrenaline Mob tour because he was having a lot of pain in his shoulder, wasn't feeling well. And I remember getting the text and being like, oh my God, they're going to another drummer again. I can't believe this. And just, you know, I didn't realize how bad it was for AJ, because it was not even 18 hours later after getting that text that I woke up and found out that he had passed away the next morning.
The one and only AJ Perro!
They found AJ up front, sitting in the front lounge of the RV that they were traveling in. He was unresponsive. You know, AJ was just always such a great guy, and you know, you never think that something like that is really going to happen. And it was absolutely shocking. And the next day, those guys asked if I would help them out and play a gig that they had booked in New Jersey. And it's literally not 24 hours after AJ passed away, and there I am playing his drum set on stage with Adrenaline Mob, and sitting in the RV, you know, before the show, you know, in the chair that AJ passed away in 24 hours earlier. So it was really heavy, really emotional, really surreal.
hear no evil, don't you see no evil, don't you lay no evil down on me. You're gonna burn in Speak no evil, don't you think no evil, don't you play with evil, 'cause I'm free. You're gonna burn in Hear no evil, don't you see no evil, don't you lay no evil down on me. You're gonna burn in Speak no evil, don't you think no evil, don't you play with evil, 'cause I'm free. You're gonna burn in hell. I'm burning hell. You're gonna burn in hell. I'm burning hell. Drums, the sound of thunder, A.J. Pira! A.J. Pira, everybody! I miss you, brother.
Rock and roll has been my religion since I discovered it at the age of 8, and it has been my savior, quite honestly. I hate to put it in religious connotations, but quite honestly, it is almost like that. As an unpopular kid growing up in suburbia, the one thing I knew I could depend on, the one thing that was always there for me, the one thing that always spoke to me and gave me a voice was rock and roll, and has continued to be exactly that throughout my entire life.
Twisted Sister to this day is in my blood. It's one of the favorite things in the world to do is get on stage and play. And Twisted Sister, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it anywhere, anytime. And I don't think I'll achieve that in anything else I do in my life.
If we sacrificed everything with no nets protecting us, so we got our heads kicked in left, right, and sideways. We took our hits, and you know what? We really dedicated our lives to it. The band decided in mid-March that maybe next year would be the 40th anniversary of the core members of the band, and we would kind of like call it a day. We've done so much hard work in the last 12 years to build the brand up as a worldwide brand, 35 countries, headlining the biggest festivals in the world. Why don't we take a victory lap? It's our turn now for the fans to go, thank you.
We made our mark. We've done what we had to do, and unfortunately we lost AJ last year. And, you know, we want to just end things on a high note. And I think it's the right time to do it. And, you know, we'll see what the future brings for us, you know, individually. Life will go on.
It's all about you. It's all about you and you and you and you, because every single one of you are SMFs. Chief of the family, nothing like the rest, separate from the others, failing all the tests. Can't they see you're different? So hungry and so lean. You're a walking wonder, or you're a metal machine. Look at you, see you're a lot like me. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. Caught up in the worries and tomorrow's dream. Missing out a living. Milk without the cream. They think you're so foolish. Living for today. Caring just what you think and not what others say. Join with us. Oh, how they'll scream and fuss. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. You're an SMF. All right, all right. Thank you, Las Vegas! Thank you, SMFs! Thank you, sick motherfuckers! Thank you, Las Vegas! Hey, Portnoy, get out here, buddy. Come on, Portnoy. Mike Portnoy, we are Twisted fucking Sister. Goodbye.